Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
The UNC football team turned the Syracuse Orange into some Cuse juice Saturday afternoon. Good morning and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Isabella Yeskos.
And I'm Landon Elliott. Thanks for joining us. The football team looked to improve to 5-0 against the Syracuse Orange in a huge conference matchup Saturday afternoon. Star quarterback Drake May got the first of his 4 touchdowns on the day from an early QB sneak. On his second, May found Bryson Nesbitt on a beautiful ball in the corner of the end zone. May spread the ball around, including this 48-yard bomb to his new favorite target, Nate McCollum. May would find tight end John Copenhaver on the next play for his third, putting the Heels up 24-0. Kobe Paysour also came up big for the Heels with a crazy one-handed grab on his 76-yard touchdown to give the Heels a huge lead and May his 4th touchdown of the afternoon. Elijah Huzzy iced the game with an acrobatic interception off Garrett Schrader. Heels improved to 5-0 off the lopsided 40-7 victory against the Orange.
I don't think I've seen first half that dominant in a long time. They had 22 plays, we had 59. They had 70 yards, we had 400 and a bunch.
Got some things to work on, but also at the same time, defense is playing great. You know, Huzzy and the guys up front get after it. And I've said this 1,000 times, you know, Sid and Power are the best linebacker duo in the nation. So.
For an in-depth look into the statement game, here's football analyst Rachel Kivlin on Routes with Rachel. Rachel?
Landon, the Tar Heels put on a clinic against Syracuse in Keenan Saturday. The offense had a season high of 644 yards in a relentless defense that held Syracuse to less than 100 rushing and a third as many first downs as Carolina got. Drake May shined like an offensive star worthy of being a Heisman candidate, patiently working through his progressions, calm and collected in the pocket. It's not necessarily his touchdown bombs that catapulted Carolina against Syracuse. It was the perfectly placed passes that kept the chains moving and the Heels at a 9-yard average per play. May's job is a lot easier when you have dimes like Kobe Paysour. Look here, you are going to see May with the quick fake, and then that offensive line is pushing the tackles out, giving May a little bit of more time in the pocket to find Paysour for that simple slant route. He's able to lock it in, keep it in, even with 5 Orange defenders coming in hot. Again, taking a look at May's more simple passes that drove it home. Watch tight end John Copenhaver over here. He's going to read his own fake and force May to rush, which is what he's good at. So there we go with the little fake. Copenhaver finding that open air as May pitches it forward for that 1-yard easy reception. Now the question on everyone's mind coming into the game was, is newly eligible Tez Walker going to have a standout performance? Not quite. With 43 receiving yards compared to Nate McCollum's 135 and Paysour's 100, it seemed like Walker was being slowly integrated into the receiver 1 role in the prolific statement game. Syracuse couldn't stop the pass attack, they couldn't stop the rush attack, and Carolina stopped everything Syracuse tried on offense. I mean, at the end of the first half, May had more completions than the Orange had total plays. Now being 5-0 for the first time in more than 2 decades, I'd say the Heels have a good shot of making it to the top of the ACC. Landon?
Rachel, we saw a blowout performance against a team that was, at the time, 4-1. But what are your thoughts about the upcoming schedule?
Landon, the Heels have it cut out for them with Miami on Saturday and a stacked schedule facing NC State, Duke, and Clemson. Now, more than ever, Carolina cannot become complacent.
I agree, Rachel. We'll have to see if UNC can keep the momentum when facing off against the Hurricanes this Saturday. Thanks, Rachel.
The number 1 UNC field hockey team took on number 11 Boston College on Friday afternoon at Karen Shelton Stadium. Despite being down a player due to a penalty, the Heels got on the board first in the second quarter with a rebound shot by true freshman Charlie Bruder. her 7th this season. After an amazing defensive save by Kelly Smith, UNC added to their lead in the 43rd minute when Peyton Worth rebounded a safe shot and smashed the ball into the goal. The Eagles scored off a penalty corner in the 4th quarter. This was the first goal the Heels have given up in ACC play this season. However, UNC closed the door with a shot off a penalty corner scored by Bruder once again to give them the 3-1 victory. On Sunday, Carolina got on the board first, but 10th-ranked Liberty responded with a goal right before the end of the second quarter. The second half was a defensive battle as the Heels kept missing penalty corners and just couldn't find the back of the cage. The teams faced double overtime, and UNC's corner misses became costly as the Liberty Flames snuck away with an isolated shot to dethrone the #1 team and take the 2-1 victory. Liberty is the only visiting team to win twice in Karen Shelton Stadium.
Unfortunate ending. The Heels, they played a good game. I think we just didn't put away as many as we wanted to. We didn't capitalize enough on the opportunities we created and the opportunities we were given. But there was a lot of good out there today. It's just unfortunate that the score doesn't reflect that.
Let's go to field hockey analyst and 12th man of the year for UNC field hockey, Riley Kennedy, within the cage to break down the missed call on Sunday.
Now, Bella, definitely a controversial call right to end the game. Double OT, Liberty beat them back a couple years ago. Let's see what went wrong. So now Romai's going to pass it to Riley, right? They're going to try to get a corner. So now these Liberty defenders, right, they're getting right on Riley. They're going to, tight spaces. So now if you're a defender, if you're any defender in college field hockey or field hockey in general, you cannot use the back side of your stick. We'll look at it more in depth in a couple minutes. But see right there, that's a rounded part of her stick. You have to use the front side of your stick if you're going to try to get away the ball. Now, there's no call. You see Riley, all these players, right, they throw up their hand, right, they want to call. Now it's a counterattack, and you got to drop in the hole, right? So now she's going to dribble it up. Now, if you're Yasmina, if you're these players, you want to drop in the hole, what does that mean? Just get back, right? You got to help Con and goal. Now this is going to be tough, right? So now Liberty girl, right, on offense, you have all these UNC defenders. Like, how are you going to get past them? She does a great job, right? She gets to the middle, gets past it. This is actually going to be a foul right there. Doesn't matter. Counterattack, perfect. Liberty wins the game. Now, let's take a look in depth on this thing. So now you're going to see Romai's going to pass to Riley. What was I saying, right? She uses the backside of her stick, that rounded part of the stick. If you play field hockey, you know what I'm talking about. You can't do that. That's a foul, right? You can't do it. No call. Liberty counterattacks. They win the game. So now, right, if you're UNC, right, this is the nature of the sport. This is going to happen. Keep your head up. Drop back in the hole. Big road trip out for the Tar Heels in New York.
Riley, you're from upstate New York. You just mentioned a big road trip in New York this week for UNC. What do they need to do to have a successful trip?
Right, yeah. Syracuse on Friday. It's a good ACC team. Then Albany on Sunday. Now, not a bad weekend to get 2 wins, right? Get back in the win column. Weather could play a factor, so dress for them if you're the Tar Heels.
Thanks, Riley.
The Tar Heels men's soccer team clashed with reigning national champion Syracuse on Friday night at Dorrance Field. Syracuse put on the pressure early, keeping the ball in North Carolina's half. UNC was able to hold the Orange off until the 23rd minute when Syracuse capitalized off a corner kick headed in by number 19, Buster Sojberg. After having 0 shots on goal in the first half, Carolina looked like a different team in the second half, eagerly searching for the back of the net. Despite a flurry of on-target chances, including a curling free kick that glanced off the post by Quincy Airmont, Heels were unable to find the back of the net. UNC fell 1-0.
Syracuse is a team that we know we want to press them, and they're going to put the ball in behind. We got to be better prepared for that. Win the second ones, help our back line as much as possible, getting on both sides of the ball, being ready for both, and I just don't think we were tonight.
Men's soccer will be back at Dorrance Field tomorrow night for a matchup under the lights against Florida Gulf Coast University. The women's soccer team looked to continue a 2-game win streak with a rivalry game against the Duke Blue Devils Sunday in Durham. The first half was a physical battle between the Tar Heels and Blue Devils as each team struggled to break the defense of the other. Multiple offside calls and a defensive battle kept the score 0-0. However, the Tar Heels broke the Blue Devils' defense with a shot from Emily Colton that hit the crossbar before rattling into the corner. And this penalty kick for Carolina kept the game at 1-0 until Kate Rader tied the game with only a minute left. The Heels couldn't come out on top, leaving the score at 1-1. The Heels will take on number 17 Wake Forest in Winston-Salem on Friday. While UNC and Duke battled it out on the field, off the field, the schools collaborated for a good cause at the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's event in Raleigh on Saturday. Emma Hall has the story.
Hosted by the Alzheimer's Association, The walk had a live band, kids' games, and sponsors' tents. One tent that particularly stands out is the Duke UNC Alzheimer's Disease Research Center.
Also behind me, we have the UNC Duke tent. Someone told me that they blended the blues together in order to collaborate for Alzheimer's research.
This collaboration between the rival schools began 2 years ago, and Kathleen Welch-Baumer, a professor from Duke, explained what the partnership is all about.
The mission of the Alzheimer's Center is really to discover, prevent, and to treat the underlying biology of Alzheimer's disease.
She also shared why the group was at the walk.
So we are very supportive of the Alzheimer's Association and work very closely with them as the biggest national organization for Alzheimer's disease research and care.
Executive Director for the Eastern North Carolina chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, Lisa Roberts, shared the importance of the collaboration for the Alzheimer's Association.
It allows for us to work with them for their North Carolina Brain Registry and to work with their researchers and their teams so that we can help enhance and support any of their education or research efforts together.
The event wasn't only a fundraiser for Alzheimer's care and research, but a celebration of the work that has been done so far. The multiple colored flowers each represent someone's connection with the disease. However, there's not yet a flower for an Alzheimer's survivor. The hope is to add one soon. I'm Emma Hall, reporting.
The Alzheimer's Association will continue to fundraise throughout the year.
This weekend, UNC Volleyball hosted Louisville and Notre Dame at Carmichael Arena, looking to break a losing streak against tough competition. On Friday, Carolina came out hot in the first set, showcasing their aggressive offense with kills like this from Amani Foster, who had a match-best 16 kills. However, despite players like freshman Safi Hampton stepping up due to Mabry Schaffmaster's absence, 6th-ranked Louisville took the following set, making it even at 1 apiece. Although the Tar Heels fought hard and Marissa Meyerhofer had a career-best 11 digs, the number 6 Cardinals managed to out-hit and defend the Heels, taking them down in 4 sets. The Heels then took on the Fighting Irish Sunday afternoon in another attempt to regain the fire they had at the start of the season. UNC started out strong in the first 2 sets with Amani Foster and Romani Thurman having a combined 23 kills, but in the 3rd set, Notre Dame flipped a switch and the Heels couldn't gain traction offensively. Maddie May's 14 digs were no match for the Fighting Irish's big blocks and aggressive serves. With the Heels' lowest hitting percentage of the season, Notre Dame was able to win the match tight 3-2.
When players on the floor aren't performing great, we have to look for other solutions, and we have some. And I don't think a whole lot worked for us in sets 3 through 5.
For more about yesterday's match, here's volleyball analyst Ashley Humphrey and Aces with Ashley.
Honestly, Bella, yesterday's match against Notre Dame was disappointing, and this past weekend, Carolina volleyball had to ask themselves and evaluate this question: who are we without Mabry Schaffmaster? Was Schaffmaster out completely on Friday due to an undisclosed injury, and starting on the bench yesterday, Mike Shaw had to look to his roster. Despite the match results of the weekend, we saw how deep this team runs offensively, and it gives me and the rest of Carolina volleyball fans hope, as a lot of our talent is young. We're competing with top programs like Louisville, taking the first set on Friday even without Schaffmaster. But just like with Louisville, the Heels couldn't finish what they started with Notre Dame as they lost in a 5-set match. Here's the thing, volleyball is a game of momentum. The Tar Heels held that momentum, but the Notre Dame team that showed up after set 2 looked like a brand new team, putting on pressure our team didn't seem to expect. Notre Dame began consistently blocking and serving with aggression, and their defense also stepped up, allowing them to set their middles more and perfect that setter-hitter connection that they were struggling with at the beginning of the match. The aggression startled UNC's defense, and that led to Babbitt having to set our outside with Foster and back row with Hampton because of these out-of-system passes. And it's swings like those that ended up with UNC in the negatives for their hitting percentage in the 3rd and 4th set. As you see, she goes to Hampton in the back row and with a solo block from Notre Dame. In the final set, communication and trust was down as Schaffmaster began to overstep and play hero balls in serve-receive. You're going to see her in left back step in front of Foster to take the pass. It's an overpass. Notre Dame scores the point, and that play honestly about sums up the 5th set. This game was won by who stole the momentum and who had the right mentality after the half, and UNC didn't have either.
Ashley, are you surprised at the team showing this weekend?
The past few matches are definitely some I would have loved to see go UNC's way, but honestly, the results aren't surprising as they're just growing pains of a developing program under a new head coach in a very competitive ACC conference.
Thanks, Ashley. Tough weekend.
We head to Anderson Field, where Carolina took on UNC Pembroke and Wingate in sunny Sunday exhibitions games. After UNC tallied 2 runs in the first inning, graduate Abby Settlemeyer kept that blaze alive by blasting a grand slam over the right field wall. Carolina was able to thwart Pembroke's offense with a spectacular extended grab in right field. Autumn Owen put the nail in the coffin with a 2-run shot as Carolina shut out Pembroke on the way to their first win of the day, 10-0. In Game 2, the Heels opened scoring early with an RBI off a sac fly from Autumn Owen. Abby Settlemeyer added another as she smacked the ball through the Wingate defense in the second. Carolina added 3 more in the fifth, highlighted by another Autumn Owen double. Pitchers Britton Rogers and Janelle Wilson once again pitched impressively, holding a usually powerful Bulldog offense to 2 hits. A balanced Carolina squad eased past Wingate 6-1 to grab both exhibition wins. Coming off the high of a beatdown against their rivals in the worst blue, Carolina hockey looked to continue the undefeated streak against Wake Forest at home on Friday night. The Heels started off strong with 2 goals early in the game. Patrick O'Shaughnessy sent the puck between the legs of a defender to allow junior forward Thomas Gilligan to get the goal in the first period. Senior Cole Kozowski opened the second period with the 4th goal for the Tar Heels. Immediately after, Matt Grady capitalized on a rebound to swiftly shoot the puck past the goaltender for yet another goal. As action continued on the ice, Wake Forest proved unable to overcome Carolina's defensive force and were able to make it past goaltender Lucas Brown only once, allowing the Tar Heels to secure a win 7-1.
Women's tennis was lively and carried this weekend at the ITA All-American Championships. Fiona Crawley partnered with Carson Tangalig, while Elizabeth Scotty and Reese Brentmeyer also doubled up together, 2 duos we know all too well. Both teams would unfortunately lose in spirited matches on Saturday. In the pre-qualifying singles draw, freshman Theodora Rabman advanced to the round 16 after winning on Sunday. We all notice multidimensional athletes like Shohei Ohtani, Travis Hunter, and multidimensional rugby expert and control room expert extraordinaire, Aman Patel. He introduces us to a local athlete who is the very definition of multidimensional.
Michelle Balashotis is way more than your normal athlete.
I have hydrocephalus, so there's a tube that goes from my head all the way down to my peritoneal cavity.
Balashotis suffered a stroke while still in the womb that left her with some physical disabilities.
My knee goes in a lot, and then my right leg is shorter than my left. I wear a splint because my wrist is really weak.
But none of this has stopped Balashotis. She rock climbs and mountain bikes on top of a jam-packed schedule that includes her day job as a pediatric occupational therapist. Her love for sports and her never-quit attitude was fueled by her parents.
When I was younger, I participated in able-bodied sports. My parents really didn't want to stop me from doing anything.
Balashotis' mom, Mary Kay, has been fighting for opportunities for Michelle and those like her since she was born.
I founded an organization that is the International Alliance for Pediatric Stroke, and that came out of Michelle.
This has led to both mother and daughter becoming global advocates for pediatric stroke victims, including trips to Sharjah, UAE, hosted by the American Heart Association.
They flew us to Sharjah to be at this conference, and Michelle led one of the sessions that was there. She was 18.
But 18 was a crossroads for Michelle in another phase of her life.
I went to Oklahoma to get classified for the Paralympics, and that was all fun, but then I was like, that's going to take a lot of dedication and time, and I was focused on school.
Michelle had given up on swimming, but her time at UNC Chapel Hill brought a spark back to her.
I want to find an adaptive sport organization and do more things, and so I found cycling. Let's roll.
Michelle found a competitive niche that surprised even her mother.
I was getting ready to video her, and I was kind of fumbling for my phone, and all of a sudden she pops out of the water. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not the last one.
Michelle has now put her love for sports and her passion for advocacy together with an organization called NC Adapted Sports. Founded by Wes Hall and Tony Luparello,
I really think Wes is a cool person, so of course I wanted to help him, and adaptive sports is one of my passions.
We decided to start a nonprofit. We brought her on as a board member because of her OT experience.
Michelle holds a saying from a company near and dear to her heart.
We don't want easy, we want possible.
And there has never been anything easy about Balashotis' journey. But she has always made things possible. I'm Owen Patel, reporting.
NC Adaptive Sports and Balashotis will be celebrating their completion of their accessible trail project at Lake Crabtree County Park on October 19th.
This week, we have unanimously decided that our Sports Extra Play of the Week is Kobe Paysor's beautiful 76-yard touchdown off a bobbled one-handed catch in the second half. Paysor had 3 grabs for the day for 100 yards.
Landon, I'm pretty sure this play was number 1 on SportsCenter, and we had a UNC Field Hockey for number 2, apparently.
Yeah, we did, Bella. How about that? That's good odds for Carolina.
Normally on Mondays, we like to start off light here at Sports Extra and show our plays of the week, but today we decided to take a different turn and show some missed opportunities of the week as well. Starting off, we have the Miami Hurricanes refusing to take a knee with 26 seconds left on the clock, fumbling the ball and losing on a last-second touchdown, costing UNC the opportunity to host an undefeated 5-0 matchup between the two teams. Next up, the top-ranked UNC Field Hockey team suffered its second loss of the season, falling in double overtime to 10th-ranked Liberty. The Heels now have a 1-2 record in overtime games, Landon.
The number 1 ranked women's soccer team had a 1-0 lead in the dying moments of the game against Duke when Avery Patterson had a penalty kick saved by the Duke keeper. Duke then stormed back and tied the game with 60 seconds remaining, leaving the Heels with a disappointing tie. Finally, the volleyball team got out to a commanding 2-set lead against Notre Dame. Then the tide completely shifted and Notre Dame stormed back as well, completing the reverse sweep, winning in 5 sets. UNC falls to 1-5 in ACC play, second worst in the ACC.
Now, we can't start off the week on a bad note, so let's look at the positives from this past weekend, okay? So, UNC football demolished Syracuse. Aces with Ashley just told us that our roster is young and has a great future ahead of them. And UNC knows how to finish out a game, unlike some teams coming to Chapel Hill this weekend.
Yeah, we know how to finish games, Bella, and we also know how to finish this show. We'll be back on Friday with a preview of another exciting weekend in Carolina athletics.